welcome to another episode of Coffee with a Kick. I'm Xander, and that is Keegan, and today we mourn. No, it's not quite that serious, but it wasn't a great result that we had here over the last quarterfinal matches, last set of quarterfinal matches.
Well, for one of us.
Well, okay, I meant collectively for the United States, all right? We can talk about individual achievements, whatever those are worth here in just a second. But first, we'll go ahead and get into it. The USA-Morocco match did not go the way that either of us had wanted. We both thought that the United States would, show up. Instead, they lost 4-0, which I do think is a deceptive scoreline. We were in it for quite a while. I mean, it was a penalty that they got in the 29th minute, so not a run-of-play goal.
And not a penalty at all.
And not a penalty
at all.
Yeah.
What a terrible call to really set the tone for the entire match.
Yeah, it was not great. And once Morocco went up 1-0, they really just tried to disrupt the flow of the match. They weren't really trying much for another goal. And to be fair, we didn't put much pressure on them to get a goal. We were missing, as we have had an issue with across all other competitions, we've had an issue with finishing. When we're playing quality sides. We only had one shot on goal the whole game, and we were down from the 29th minute onward. That's not a recipe for success. That's not a recipe for success at all.
No, I mean, I think the penalty definitely got into the head of our players. After that, it kind of felt like we had to reform, reorganize, get back into it. Second half, at the beginning, I really thought we were going to score. We had a few chances, even when it was still 1-0, even when it was 2-0. But, yeah, once they got the third, you could see the defeat in the body language. Yeah, even when they got the second, we still had a couple of chances. I think it was Robinson missed a cross. Cross came in. Robinson had it, just skies it.
Yeah.
Another one, I think a header was just too soft, and it went straight to the keeper. But you have these chances, and if you don't take them in these quarterfinals, it's going to end up being the thing that makes you lose.
Yeah, and it was disappointing. It really felt a lot like the France match in the end, in that, the first half wasn't terrible. We had a bad break in the first half, but we came back in the second, stayed in it for the first while, but then it got out of reach very quickly. And we didn't. We deserved to lose that match, and by the end of the match, 4-0 is a bit harsh, but you let in 4 goals, 2 of them penalties, so a grain of salt there. But that was the Morocco and United States game. We move on to Japan and Spain. Boy, we both got this one wrong too, because Spain decided to play their best match of the tournament, and Japan just couldn't quite break through the Spanish back line. I mean, they had their chances, and they played pretty well for the majority of the match. I mean, it was even for a lot of it. Spain got an 11th minute goal, but after that, I mean, Spain possessed more, but Japan was still productive. Only got 2 shots on goal by the end of it, but Japan didn't feel out of it until the second Spanish goal in the 73rd minute when Fermin Lopez got his brace. And then after that, I felt like Japan wasn't going to be able to get 2. 1, I thought they could have gotten to get the extra time. 2, it didn't feel like they were going to be able to get 2.
Yeah, the spirit of the Euro champions came out because this Spain team looked completely different than the previous 3 matches. And Japan, I mean, they looked overwhelmed at times.
Yeah.
They just didn't look like they were as organized as they used to be. They weren't really used to being the team on the back foot. So going down 1-0, it kind of looked like they weren't sure what to do. So Spain ultimately pounces there late in the second half. And if they can keep that style of play up, they have a chance to actually win it.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this Spain team, I'm kind of glad we lost to Morocco, because I think we were about to get thrashed by this Spanish team. I think it would have gone very poorly for the United States. And it's not a great reason, but The Morocco-Spain, we'll get to it in a second. We've got some other matches to do first. I just closed out one of the ones I was needing to. The next one up, though, I will let you take from the top. In case you didn't see our YouTube short, this is for the Egypt and Paraguay match.
This was probably the closest I think I've ever... Like, this would have been the perfect of perfect picks.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately, Paraguay-Egypt, it was looking good. 71st minute, Paraguay scores. I got a little nervous. I predicted 1-1 to go to penalties. And in Egypt, 88th minute, Ibrahim Adel. And honestly, in the after extra time, like those two halves did not really seem like either team was convincing that they wanted to even win it during that time.
No.
Like both teams were like methodically passing it around. There were a couple of chances, but I predicted a 5-3 Egypt shootout win, and it ended 5-4. It was so close.
And once you got there, I pointed this out. It was impossible for it to go 5-3 because Paraguay went first. So there wasn't that opportunity for Paraguay to miss one, and then for Egypt to go from 4-5 for that last penalty. Egypt had to have gone first for it to go 5-3. But still. I mean, spot on is hard to beat. I think it did end up being, I don't know. We said that it was probably like the least exciting one to go in. And that extra time, they were going to penalties after that. There wasn't a lot of action in extra time between the two at all. I mean, in total, for the match, there were only, they peppered the goal and come out, but none of them, there was a lot of shots on goal that weren't that great. A lot of just ones that kind of dribbled into the goalkeepers and didn't have much of a chance of it. But, listen, you got a great pick out of it. And Egypt moves on over Paraguay. And now we go to France and Argentina. This one, Mateta scores early, 5th minute for France. And after that, France looked like they were perfectly fine at taking it as a 1-0 victory over Argentina. Very conservative play after that. Argentina had some chances, but almost as if to prove me wrong, Julian Alvarez did not play very well up top. It was almost as if he heard me say that this was going to be a great game for him, and he decided, no, I'm not going to play well. I'm going to, in fact, not play well. And by the time we get to... I mean, there's an enormous amount of stoppage time in this one because there were several injury stoppages, and France was delaying as much as they could. But Argentina, they couldn't unlock that defense. And the name escapes me at the moment of who heads up that center back there. Defense. But yeah, France, it was a pretty even match, but France did seem the better side on the day. So I think there was a deserved win on their end.
France, I feel like, it was Sildilia and Bade.
Yeah.
Were the two big defenders.
Bade, yes, that was it.
And, I mean, kudos to them. Like, they played really well, and it wasn't necessarily their action when someone got the ball, but it was just their positioning. Like, it was that experience I kind of talked about beforehand of, making sure the experienced team is going to be the one that moves through, and France just looked better coached. They looked more experienced.
Thierry Henry, really, looking for experience in big matches. Hard to beat Thierry Henry.
Yeah. The one thing that shocks me about this one is that the very first shot on target is the one that wins it. Yeah. I mean, two juggernauts, you're thinking there's going to be fireworks, more goals. It's the Olympics. Typically, there are more goals scored at the Olympics, but 1-0 gets the job done. And France, again, maybe there were a few opportunities for Argentina, but Argentina will be disappointed to walk away, not even having a shot, even on goal for a while in the first half, and then not scoring is obviously disappointing.
And not even having a shot at a medal, They're walking away totally empty-handed here. I It's unfortunate, they're the ones who lost the group. It's their fault that they did that. They all they had to do was not lose to Morocco, but instead they have to play France in the quarterfinal, and that's a tough draw. That's a tough draw. But that then brings us to the the semifinals themselves. First one up is the Battle of Gibraltar, right? Spain and Morocco separated by that little tiny bit of ocean, sea. Is that considered part of the Mediterranean Sea? The Straits of Gibraltar.
I think it is considered a part of it.
Considered part of the Mediterranean. All right, okay.
I think so.
Peg that down. It's part of the Mediterranean. Anyway, how do you think? Do you think Morocco is able to take down the Spaniards?
I think this one, I'm going to go 2-2, and this one goes to penalties.
Oh, okay.
Morocco has been very defensive and using that defense to turn into offense. Spain has been using their offense to be their defense. Pretty typical tiki-taka stuff. Possession is our best defense. We don't want you to have the ball. But Morocco kind of thrives on that. They want you, similarly to when we're talking about the Premier League, they're like a Crystal Palace. They're like a West Ham. You can have the ball as much as you want, but when we get it, we know exactly what we're doing with it on the counter. I feel like that's where Morocco has been the best team in this tournament. I think they're pretty evenly matched, so that's why I think 2-2. And as far as a winner, I'm going to go with the underdog. Morocco wins 4-3 in pins.
4-3 in pins. I don't know. It's hard to watch that Spain-Japan match and not think that Spain takes this one against Morocco, because Japan and Morocco definitely play a different style, especially with these teams that they have out there. As you kind of touched on here, Japan is a very team-oriented style, whereas Morocco's not quite. That build-up play is not there for Morocco. They are as methodical as Japan was. So Spain, man, I think that they take this. I want to say 2-0, because I think if Spain gets up early in this, then that possession then plays in their favor, and they don't have to be pressing at Morocco in the way that they would otherwise, which kind of then deflates that idea of a quick counter for Morocco. You can kind of leave back your wing backs if you're. I think they're playing with 4 in the back for Spain. But you can be less aggressive and make sure that you don't get that ball over the top. You can still spring one, but I think that Spain was really impressive in the last match, and I think they carry it through here and make their way into the gold medal match. Then for the other side, we have Egypt and France. Egypt being the underdog for sure in this one. And, I think that France going into it, I mean, they're playing at in Lyon, in France. I mean, it's going to be hard to pick against France, and I'm not going to. I think that we're set up for a Spain-France gold medal match here, and I think France takes it. I think they take it 3-1. I think that they really put it in impressively.
Yeah, I don't think Egypt even scores.
Wow.
I have it 3-0. I think France, the stars are aligning for them to play in the gold medal match.
Yeah.
Eventually maybe win it. They're the home team. So far, France has actually been doing incredibly well in the Olympics as a whole. Currently, they're kind of going on their best finish ever. I think they're technically third in medals total. I think France has a really good chance of winning this one against Egypt and adding to that medal total. But the good thing is we are at the stage where if you get knocked out, you still have a chance at silverware. So Egypt, I think it'll be Egypt-Spain in the bronze medal match. But we'll see. We both think France will be there in the final, though.
Yep. Yes, I think that is... I mean, you can't say it's a guarantee, but certainly betting favorites by a good deal, by a good margin there. But, we'll see here later today, starting at noon on... Well, I'm going to be watching it on Peacock. You can watch it on wherever you want. It looks like it's on E Network. Is that right? I guess so. It just says E exclamation point. So that's the E Network. Once another rerun of The Soup, if they still play those on E. Either that or Hollywood Access, I guess. I don't know what's on. I don't know the programming on E, okay? But at noon,
That shocks me. You seem like an E guy.
I know. It seems like I'm all in on that Hollywood gossip, that hot goss. I'm sure that they say that on E all of the time. But tune in at noon for Morocco and Spain, and then 3 p.m. on the USA Network, France and Egypt. And we'll see if we get a YouTube short of one of us being really right on their predictions again. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But until we do see you again, why don't you go ahead and grab your coffee, watch some soccer, and we'll see you on the other side.